So this Social Security Administration is going all in on digital. The idea is to make everything more efficient, more convenient. But here's the thing. For millions of older Americans, this so-called progress feels a lot more like a wall. Today, we're going to dig into that digital dilemma.
Just listen to this. It's from an 89-year-old man named D. He says, "I was frustrated. It caused me to stop trying." Think about that for a second. He tried to get to his own information online, and the whole process was so difficult that he just gave up.
So let's start there, with that feeling of just giving up. Let's talk about why, for so many people, this new digital front door feels like it's been slammed shut right in their faces.
And look, D's story, it's not a one-off thing, not by a long shot. I mean, think about it. Forgotten passwords, complicated two-factor authentication, brand new login systems you've never heard of. If you didn't grow up with this stuff, these aren't just little annoyances, they are major roadblocks.
And then there's this, from another beneficiary, Levon. Her story shines a light on another huge part of the problem, just sheer confusion. All she wanted to do was change her address, a simple task. But the uncertainty around this new system created some real anxiety. You can hear it in her question. Was she about to be locked out of her own account for good?
So that's really the heart of it, right? This powerful idea of a locked door. When you combine that frustration and that confusion, the whole online system starts to feel impenetrable. And, when you're staring at a locked door and you don't have the key, what do you usually do? You turn around and walk away.
Okay, so we've seen what's happening to people on the ground. But that begs a huge question: why? Why is all of this happening in the first place? Let's take a look at the big shift that's driving all of this. Well, it all boils down to this one big idea. The SSA is trying to become a digital-first agency. And look, the intention here is genuinely a good one. The goal is to use technology to make things faster, safer, and just more efficient for everybody.
And when I say this is a big shift, I mean it's huge. The agency's goal is to get 200 million Americans enrolled in their mySocialSecurity online accounts by the end of 2026. That is an absolutely massive number.
Now this is what really lays out the whole problem, isn't it? On one side, you've got these well-meaning goals from the government, but on the other side, you have the actual reality for folks like Dee and Levon, where the system ends up feeling harder, way less convenient, and ultimately, it just pushes them away. And this is where the story takes a really critical turn, because these struggles, they don't just lead to frustration, they actually create some very serious and totally unintended security risks for the very people the system is supposed to be protecting. And to understand just how high the stakes are, you just have to look at this. Nearly 4 out of every 10 beneficiaries rely on Social Security for their entire income. This isn't just some extra pocket money. For millions, it's their lifeline. When getting to that money is threatened, people can get desperate.
So here's the crazy paradox in all of this. The very security measures that are designed to protect these accounts, things like multi-factor authentication, can be so hard to get through that people get stuck and they go looking for help. And in that desperation, they might just turn to somebody they really shouldn't.
And this is exactly what experts like Kathleen Romig are warning about. To log in, you need your most sensitive info. We're talking Social Security number, birth date, bank account details. Handing that over to the wrong person, even if they mean well, can be absolutely disastrous.
And the risks here are incredibly severe. Someone with that information could potentially get into your bank accounts. It opens you up to scammers, to identity theft, and sadly, sometimes even to exploitation by your own family members.
Okay, so after all that, you might be feeling a little worried. But here's the good news. There are safe ways to get help. So let's pivot and focus on some real, actionable steps you can take to protect yourself or someone you care about.
All right, let's break down your best bets. First, you can always go straight to the source, the SSA, either by phone or in person. Just, be ready for some long wait times. Second, check out community resources. Your local library or a senior center often has amazing people who are trained to provide digital literacy support. And third, if you do turn to family or a personal service for help, you have to be extremely careful about who you trust with your information.
And if you remember nothing else from this, please remember these 3 simple rules. Rule 1. The SSA will never cold call, text, or email you asking for personal info. Ever. Rule 2. Always verify who you're talking to before you ask for help. And Rule 3. If anything feels weird or suspicious, report it.
I really love this quote from Vida Roozen because it puts this whole thing in perspective.
She says digital literacy isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. It's not just about getting into one website. It's about staying connected to banking, to healthcare, to your friends and family. It opens the world back up.
And that really leaves us all with this one big question, doesn't it? Progress is going to happen. The world is moving online. But it doesn't have to leave people behind. The real challenge for all of us is, how do we build that digital future so that it's not just efficient and secure, but also truly accessible and supportive for every single person?